Hi, this week's First Chapter Friday video is A Good Kind of Trouble by Lisa Moore Ramee. And this book, the title of this book, A Good Kind of Trouble, is a reference to a John Lewis quote, which is, "Get in good trouble, necessary trouble, and help redeem the soul of America." And John Lewis was a contemporary of Dr. Martin Luther King. They walked together on the bridge at Selma. And this is Martin Luther King Day when I'm actually recording this. You're not watching it on Martin Luther King Day, but that's when I'm recording this. So I have Dr. King on the mind. Also, this author is actually coming for a World Read Aloud Day visit to our school on February 7th. So it might be an interesting thing for you to listen to one of her books so you could learn a little bit more about it. So this book is a realistic fiction title about a girl who's starting middle school and notices some of the sort of common friend shakeup kinds of things that happen when people go to middle school. It's a little bit of a coming of age story, and it's a little bit of her understanding a little bit more about her town, her family, and herself. Chapter 1, First Slide. I'm allergic to trouble. It makes my hands itch. But today in science, when Mr. Levy starts calling out lab partner assignments, I don't get even the slightest tingle. I just sit there, barely breathing, waiting for him to assign me to the perfect partner. He's been promising we'd start science labs since the first day of school, but it's been weeks. Lots of time for me to decide on the perfect partner. Mr. Levy has been teaching science at Emerson Junior High for centuries, and he looks like a mad scientist. For real. He has wild, frizzy gray hair and even wears a lab coat every day. He fluffs his hair and adjusts his thick black glasses. I start rubbing my hands against my legs, which isn't a good sign, but I don't pay attention. Any second he will get to my name. Shayla and... Mr. Levy pauses a few seconds, like he's really thinking about it, like he doesn't already have the list in front of him. And Bernard, he says. No, and I mean no. This is the opposite of perfect. I sneak a peek behind me. Bernard sits in the back, slouching low in his seat. Junior high desks weren't made for Bernard. He's not a kid size. He's a grown-up sized, and grown-up big. He catches me looking at him, and his mouth shifts into a mean grimace. I gulp and look away. My sister, Hannah, would say I'm being just like those people who take one look at a black person and think they need to clutch their purse tight or lock their car doors. I have no problem with Bernard being black, obviously. I'm black too. It's him being huge and mean and scary. Bernard went to the same elementary school as me and my best friends, Isabella and Julia. We're all terrified of him. Everyone I know is terrified of him. Even in kindergarten, he would scowl at everybody, and he'd yell a lot. In second grade, he yelled at me because I got to the Star Wars Legos before he did. He grabbed those stormtroopers right out of my hands, and if you've ever had someone snatch Legos from you, you know how much it hurts. And he didn't say sorry. I told him I needed the stormtroopers, but Bernard looked at me like he wouldn't have minded squashing me right underneath one of his big shoes. Bernard was a bully then, and he's a bully now. Please, oh please don't let us be doing lab work today. Find your partners, everyone. Mr. Levy claps his hands together. I just bet partnering me with Bernard is some devious experiment. What happens if we mix trouble-hating girl with big bully boy? Kaboom, that's what. Shayla, Bernard hollers. He sounds mad. I guess he's not happy that we're partners either. I walk to the back of the room to the lab tables, and my feet feel like they weigh 600 pounds. I got the first slide. Bernard's voice is like a bunch of bowling balls all being dropped at the same time. The glass in one of his big paws snaps in two. Oh, I say, he could probably snap one of my fingers just like that. Bernard shakes his hand and starts sucking a finger. I'm sure this is a bad idea. Mr. Levy comes over and sets some new slides next to our microscope. He doesn't even ask Bernard if he's okay. Bernard doesn't look okay. He looks angry, which is basically saying he looks like Bernard. Stop messing around, Mr. Levy tells Bernard. I wasn't, Bernard booms. Mr. Levy shakes his head and walks away. After that, Bernard won't even look in the microscope. He shoves the stack of slides at me like it's my fault he broke the first one. The top slide has a tiny green-brown thing on it, and when I peer through the microscope, I can see it's a bug leg. I think it's from a grasshopper and write some notes about it and try not to study Bernard. I don't know if I should say anything to him. I don't want to make him even more mad. When class is over, he gets up so fast he knocks his desk to the side, and instead of picking it up, he storms out of the room. You bet Mr. Levy frowns real hard at that. I pick up Bernard's desk before leaving class. Maybe since Mr. Levy didn't have to pick it up, no one will get in trouble, but my hands itch anyway. Chapter 2, Triangle Friends. We have a break right after second period, and it's the first time of the day when I can meet up with Isabella and Julia. When we got our schedules on May's Day, we couldn't believe out of 6 classes we didn't have one together. How is that even possible? I'm only in pre-algebra, but I'm pretty sure the odds of that have got to be crazy high. Only getting to see my friends at break and lunch is the worst. Some people think it's weird I have 2 best friends. But who's your favorite, they'll ask. Who could pick between pizza and spaghetti? They're both the best. We make a great triangle, and 3 is actually a magic number. I learned that from the Schoolhouse Rock DVDs. We are alike in everything that matters. We call ourselves the United Nations because Isabella is Puerto Rican and Julia is Japanese American, and then there's me. And yes, we know Black isn't a nation, but we also know that we are united. We've been friends since forever, but super best friends since 3rd grade, when we got partnered for a group project. Each group was assigned a place in the world and then had to give a presentation like we were tour guides. We got Hawaii, and Mama bought fake palm trees and coconuts from Dollar Tree, and Isabella's mom, who's a graphic designer, helped us make travel brochures. Isabella painted an amazing poster of a Hawaiian beach at sunset. Julia was really excited because she has a lot of family living in Hawaii. She brought in a whole bunch of shell necklaces and postcards, and even a bottle full of sand from a Hawaiian beach. We've been united ever since. Every day at break, we meet behind the row of extra classrooms next to the multipurpose room. Even though the buildings are called portables, I don't think they ever get moved once they're set down. Isabella is already there, claiming our spot right under the huge magnolia tree. But there's no sign of Julia yet. Isabella's t-shirt is a swirl of peach and rose with a hint of pale blue. It looks like a dawn sky. It's beautiful, and I'm immediately jealous. That is the cutest top, I say. When did you get it? Isabella looks down at herself as if she can't remember what she's wearing. It's just tie-dye. She stretches the material out, examining the colors. I was trying for a sort of ombre thing. It didn't work exactly. You made it? I am as close to squealing as I get. She shrugs. It was easy. You just have to be careful how you tie the rubber bands. Well, next time we do a tie-dye project, you're totally making mine, I say. You got it, Isabella says with a smile. Where's Jules, I ask. I can't wait to share my horrible science lab news, but I can't say anything until it's the 3 of us. Isabella points, and I turn to see Julia running toward us. When she reaches us, she's all out of breath and plops down next to me and Isabella. She digs an apple out of her backpack. Sorry I'm late. Mr. Lee took forever handing out back homework. What did you get? I ask, and Julia frowns at me. Grades aren't her thing the way they are mine. I mean, she does fine. She just doesn't care. We all stretch out our legs. My long, skinny, dark brown ones next to Isabella's tan ones, next to Julia's much lighter ones. We're all wearing low-top black Converses. Julia's are really worn out, and Isabella's are splotched with purple paint. Mine look like they just came out of the box. I like things neat. Since break is only 12 minutes, we don't have time to waste, and we're already starting late, so I blurt out, "You'll never guess who my lab partner is." It's funny how even terrible news can be exciting to tell. Not that jerk who talked about your forehead, Julia asks, taking a huge bite of her apple. I put a hand over my forehead. On the very first day, in my very first class, there he was, Jace Hayward, with his cinnamon skin that's just a little lighter than mine and those wide lime green eyes and a grin as cool as lake water. I had told Julia and Isabella that this was the year I was going to have a boyfriend, and when I saw Jace, I decided he was the one. If we had gotten partnered today, that would have been the first step. I probably shouldn't have told Julia and Isabella what Jace said about my forehead. Jace is not a jerk, I say. He was just being funny, although it didn't feel very funny at the time. He called me Jimmy Neutron, and if you've seen that old movie, you know calling me that wasn't any kind of compliment. Jace said it pretty loud, and it made me feel like I swallowed a piece of coal while it was burning. It's true, I have a really big forehead. There is exactly 4 inches of space between my eyebrows and my hairline. I know it's 4 inches because I measured it one day after hearing someone call me 5-head. If you don't think 4 inches is a lot, go get a ruler and measure your own forehead. I bet you get a 2, possibly a 3. If you hit a 4, hey, I feel you, but I am more than my forehead. Jace just needs to find that out. Isabella holds her fist like she might punch somebody. If he's mean to you again, we'll get him. She tightens her lips over her braces, trying to look tough, but she looks ridiculous. Isabella doesn't have a tough bone in her body. Thanks, Iz, I say. I'll definitely knock on your door if someone messes with me. That makes me think of Bernard. He broke those slides like they were nothing. I hate when people are mean, Isabella says, and grabs some of my baby carrots. He wasn't being mean, Iz, Julia says and laughs. He was just being funny. Know what I'm saying? Of course, we know what you're saying, Jules, I say, nudging her with my shoulder. She raises her eyebrow at me. You're not supposed to say that after. Say what, I ask. When someone says, know what I'm saying, it's not like a real question, Julia explains. It's an expression. Isabella taps me with a carrot. Are you going to tell us who your lab partner is or not, she asks. Bernard. I make my voice go really low. He went off in class today, breaking stuff and knocking his desk over. You have to change lab partners, Isabella squeals. I know, I said, my eyes widening. Well, you're doomed, Julia says matter-of-factly, like she's all ready for my funeral. Real helpful, Jules, Isabella says, shaking her head at Julia, then looks at me. Maybe Mr. Levy will change partners for each lab. But what if I'm stuck with him, I ask. You said you wanted a boyfriend, Julia says, and then she busts up laughing. You are not even close to funny, Jules. Normally, I don't mind Julia's jokes, but Bernard being my boyfriend, that's as funny as lima beans. Isabella points a carrot at me. It'll be okay. He can't kill you right in the middle of class. For some reason, that's not nearly as comforting as I want it to be. You have carrots stuck in your braces, I tell her. She puts her hand over her mouth. That's funny because... Her big hazel eyes get even wider than normal. Because what, I ask. And then the bell rings and breaks over. Gotta go, Isabella jumps up. Her third period is way on the other side of the school, so she always dashes as soon as the bell rings. I won't see you guys at lunch, she yells over her shoulder. I have an appointment. And then she runs off. Wait, what? I call after her, but she doesn't turn back to answer. Did you know she was leaving school early? I asked Julia. Nope, Julia says. Hey, don't worry about Bernard. I hold out my hand so Julia can help me up. And now I have to go to PE, I groan. Julia yanks me up from the ground, and for just a tiny second, I can imagine flying right over the row of portables and far, far away from PE. Chapter 3, 4 Laps. It's not that I hate doing anything active, but in elementary school, PE meant going out on the blacktop in your regular clothes and playing softball or capture the flag. It's a whole different bag of chips in junior high. You have to wear extremely ugly PE clothes that I'm positive someone made just to make sure I would look extra bad. Shiny, bright blue shorts are not a good look for me, especially since I had to get a size small on account of me being so skinny. No one wants their shorts falling down, but small shorts are a weird length on me. Too short for baggy basketball, too long for regular shorts. And we have to change into our PE clothes right in front of everyone in our row in the locker room. I figured out right away that the best strategy is to change quick so no one gets a good look at anything. What if my underwear's ripped? What if everybody stares at the tiny pimples on my back? There should really be a law against making kids who are going through puberty undress in public. There should also be a law against going through puberty early. Mama says it's totally normal for a black girl to start earlier with stuff like developing and getting her period and having grown-up bumps. That's what she calls them instead of pimples or acne, like that's supposed to make me glad to get them. I don't care if it's normal. I'm not happy about any of it. In the locker room, the lockers are in long rows, and there are aisles in between with little benches so it's easier to change your shoes. I don't know any of the girls on my aisle, and we all try to get our eyes on our locker or on the floor. At least that's what I'm hoping they're doing. A girl next to me starts getting undressed, and I do a good job of not noticing her pretty panties with lace and her tiny bra with lots of little hearts. I wore 2 shirts in 4th grade before Mama figured it out and bought me a training bra. By 5th grade, I guess I had successfully passed training because Mama bought me a real bra and then new ones in 6th when I went up a size. My bras are not tiny or cute. They're big and white and practical. Yolanda is waiting for me just outside the locker room doors. Her 2 front teeth are chipped, making a small upside-down Y in her smile. It makes it easy to remember her name. We got assigned to be partners for sit-ups on the first day, and now we just partner up all the time. I'm glad about that because I don't know anyone else in my class. She's in my 6th period too, so it's nice we're sort of becoming friends. I still haven't gotten used to how much bigger junior high is than elementary school, and how you can be in a class with 30 other kids and not know any of them. 5 different elementary schools feed into Emerson, so there are lots more people. Hi, Yolanda flashes a tiny upside-down Y smile. Hi, I say back. Every day I try to guess how Yolanda will be wearing her hair, and I'm usually wrong. She almost always parts it all the way down the middle, making 2 even sections. But then she'll do something different with the sections. Sometimes she braids them, and sometimes it's 1 braid, or sometimes it's 4 or 6. Sometimes the 2 sections are in big fat curls, and sometimes she connects them together in the back. Once it was 2 afro puffs. My English teacher, Ms. Jacobs, assigned a journal project on the first day of school. We're supposed to write all our observations in it. She calls it our eyeball journal because Ralph Waldo Emerson, the person our school is named for, once said he wanted to be an eyeball. I think that sounds gross. One of the things I always write about is what I observed about Yolanda's hair. Today, she has 1 tiny braid on each side and the rest in small curls. Cute hair, I tell her. Yolanda puts her hand over her mouth, but I can tell she's got a big grin going. If she wasn't so brown-skinned, I bet I would see a blush steaming up her cheeks. I hear a loud whistle, and our PE teacher, Coach West, shouts, "Hustle on over." We hustle and take our places in the hash marks on the ground, so Coach West can take roll. My PE shorts rise up when I sit down. I pull at them as if I could make them magically grow longer. After roll call and stretches, Coach West yells, "4 laps, everybody," and blows her whistle to get us going. She really likes her whistle. 4 laps around the track equals a mile. In junior high, we run a mile every week, and we're supposed to get faster each time. Logically, there has to be a point when this is physically impossible, but Coach West doesn't seem to think so. Our track is made out of recycled tires, so it's easier to run on than asphalt. In the middle of the track is our field that should be green grass, but is brown because of the drought. The air is heavy, pressing against me, trying to slow me down. Yolanda keeps up with me for the first 2 laps, but by the 3rd one, she just waves me ahead. "Go ahead," she gasps, gripping her side. This is awkward. Should I slow down to stay with her? Would it be mean to leave her gasping alone? How would a friendship manual answer these types of questions? I've never had a black friend before. My sister makes a huge issue out of that, like there's something wrong with me, but I don't get why it's a big deal. There were hardly any other black students at my elementary school, and besides, I had Isabella and Julia. Still, I like Yolanda, and even though we're not quite friends yet, we are friendly, and I don't want to mess it up. Coach West blows her whistle again, and I for sure don't want to get in trouble, so I give Yolanda a little wave and keep on running. I'm surprised by how good it feels to run. It's like whatever is circling around in my head bugging me just flies out in the wind and gets left behind in the track. Bye-bye, Bernard. So long, big forehead. Half a lap ahead of me, I can see this girl, Carmetta. She's faster than lightning, and all of a sudden I get this wild idea that maybe I can catch her. So I put on the jets and start running as fast as I can. My heart feels like it's creeping up into my throat, and a pain kicks me right in my side, but I don't stop running. I don't even come close to catching Carmetta, but when I finish my mile, Coach West clicks her stopwatch and holds her hand up for me to give her a high five. Smacking my hand against hers makes me feel pretty good. Yolanda doesn't get a high five from Coach. I really don't think she likes running very much. We both head to the water fountain, and I'm wondering if putting deodorant on sweaty pits will keep me from being funky later when Coach West walks over. Shayla, you might not know this, but I'm the track coach. You have a nice form going. I think I could use you. Do you want to join the team? I rub my hands together because my palms itch all over. Track? I ask. Coach West nods. Me? I glance over at Yolanda and she gives me a little shrug, but she also smiles. So I think she's okay with Coach West not asking her to join the track team. Yep. Coach West grins at me, waiting for an answer. I want to say no, but Coach West's smile glides over me like sweet syrup and makes my head go up and down. Great, she tells me, and blows her whistle. All right, everybody, I'll see you tomorrow. Yolanda elbows me. Cool, she whispers, making little panting breaths into my ear. I am positive that track will be many things, but cool isn't one of them. You know what it does sound like? A whole steaming plate of trouble. So that's the first couple chapters of A Good Kind of Trouble. Come check it out at our library.